Okay, we're recording. Microphone's good. Camera's fine. Lights. Alright. Get my notes up. Take a sip of my frozen Pepsi Zero Sugar. And we're ready to go. Hello folks, and welcome to Jack Reviews Musicals. If this is your first time seeing my face, hi, my name is Jack, and I'm a musical theater superfan based in St. Louis, Missouri, and this is my YouTube channel, where I share my thoughts on all of the musical productions I go out to see. In this video, I am going to be talking about Prism Theatre Company's production of Title of Show, which played August 16th through September 8th of 2024 at the Kranzberg Arts Center, next door to the fabulous Fox Theater. Prism is a theater company that was founded post-COVID, dedicated to providing professional theater opportunities for emerging women theater artists who have been negatively affected by the pandemic. And after a couple of years of operation, Title of Show marks their first musical production. Their version of Title of Show bills itself as the gender bend. 3 out of the 5 total characters in Title of Show are men, but Prism casts all of the characters as women without altering the text. We love crushing gender norms in this house. Title of Show was created in 2004 by composer-lyricist Jeff Bowen and book writer Hunter Bell, who is actually a graduate of St. Louis's Conservatory of Theater Arts. During the writing process, the show was workshopped and further devised by actors Susan Blackwell and Heidi Blickenstaff, as well as pianist Larry Pressgrove, who is actually an old college buddy of Hunter's. Larry has served as the musical director for several productions at the Repertory Theater of St. Louis in the past, another player with St. Louis connections. Now, I credit all of these artists because these are all of the characters in Title of Show. The musical is these 5 people playing themselves, creating the musical we are seeing right now, which makes Title of Show one of the very few explicitly autobiographical musicals. Title of Show is a circuitous Mobius strip centering around 5 people who, by the way, have gone on to have very successful careers in the theater, trying to write a musical about writing a musical that is also about writing a musical. Jeff, Hunter, Susan, Heidi, and Larry all start the show as young, starving artists in 2004 New York City, aspiring to be full-time theater professionals, though at the moment, aspirations are pretty much where it's at. But one day they see an advertisement for the inaugural New York Musical Theater Festival that is in 3 weeks. And they decide that is how they are going to get their foot in the door to Broadway. But again, the deadline for their submission is in 3 weeks, so they have to work fast. Jeff and Hunter decide that they are going to do the hard work of writing the music, book, and lyrics. And during brainstorming, as they're throwing ideas around, they decide to just have the musical be about themselves creating their musical. Literally, Hunter says, what if the first scene is just us talking about what to write? Like, we could include this conversation we're having right now. And then Jeff replies with, so everything that I say from now on could actually be in the show. Like, I could say something like, Wonder Woman for President, and that would be in the show, verbatim. This is the level of meta humor we are dealing with, folks. Susan and Heidi help Hunter and Jeff workshop the material, as does Larry, who serves as their accompanist on solo piano. To reduce production costs, the 5 cast themselves in the show and present it on a bare stage with just 4 chairs and a piano, calling it Title of Show, after the blank space on their submission application form. And after these 5 artists toil away for 3 weeks creating Title of Show, it finally premiered in 2004 at the inaugural New York Musical Theater Festival, and it became a monster hit. After 2 years of seemingly nothing, the show actually premiered off-Broadway at the Vineyard Theater in 2006. And to document their journey throughout this process, the team created the Title of Show, a YouTube series created back when YouTube was still in its infancy. The vlogs, which were basically behind-the-scenes updates featuring the team and the witty repartee between them, soon became one of the earliest viral YouTube sensations. It's actually still available to watch on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the description for you to check it out too. The smash success of Title of Show, both off-Broadway and on YouTube, led to the musical finally premiering on Broadway at the Lyceum Theater. In 2008, that production ran for a little over 100 performances, which for a musical of this scale is wild. And this entire 4-year-long journey is present in this musical. Everything that Title of Show went through, from its conception to Broadway, and all of its highs and lows in between. The excitement, the disappointment, the aspiration, the exasperation, rejection, criticism, early 2000s online trolling culture. And the team even have to battle with their own egos, as they have to learn what it means to create an original musical from the ground up. Social commentary on early 2000s popular culture, name-dropping a comical number of Broadway flops, and countless musical references abound. Much to its detriment, actually. Title of Show was kind of like Ruthless, but with less murder and a bit more heart to it. But the downside to that description is that it suffers from the same problems as Ruthless. The big one being, it really has not aged well. You know the old adage that comedy is the quickest to age and the quickest to age poorly? That is on full display here. Title of Show reeks of early 2000s comedy tropes, not just in musical comedy. I'm talking about comedy in general. And they're not just any tropes, they're the tropes that I hate. Thinking that hyper-casual dialogue where the characters swear every half a page is still shocking in the modern era. Thinking that acknowledging the existence of something is all you need to be funny. Like, hey look, reference. Laugh! There's constant references to other musicals that are essentially treated as cutaway jokes that don't really add anything. There's an entire song called Monkeys and Playbills where all of the lyrics are just titles of infamous Broadway flops, and also properties that would make questionable musicals, including The Karate Kid, which is being turned into a musical right now, and actually had its pre-Broadway tryout in St. Louis, which you can read my review for on jackreviewsmusicals.com. The pop culture references were for the most part unneeded, like I could do away with quoting Project Runway verbatim. And there's also a scene in the show where the characters all take their shirts off, seemingly for no other reason than topless people are funny. Do you really need me to tell you why that is so annoying? The team all play fictionalized versions of themselves that were essentially written to be very obvious, very black and white buddy comedy archetypes. Jeff is the tight-ass. Hunter is the hyper-extroverted goofball best friend of the tight-ass. Heidi is the demure, serious actress. Susan is essentially the female Hunter, which is confusing because this production is an all-female cast. And Larry is the shy, insecure fifth wheel who just needs to come out of his shell but will inevitably get his moment to shine. And towards the end of the show, we get the plot-mandated friendship failure, where the best friend leaves the group but inevitably comes back to save the day heroically. And it's like, give me a break. For context, during the journey to Broadway, Hunter is constantly trying to turn the show into something that it's not, zhuzhing it up for Broadway, which is something that a lot of smaller-scale musicals are misguided into doing. So, 1 point for realism there. But when everybody makes it clear that nobody is happy with what Hunter is doing, he lashes out at everyone, to the point where he says some pretty nasty things about the team, like personally attacking them. before running out of the room like a coward. But then they inevitably kiss and make up, and they agree to leave the show as it is, celebrating the power of friendship. I don't know if you can tell, but that resolution rubs me the wrong way, because for one thing, Hunter's blow-up didn't really even need to be there. I know I've been saying that we need more positivity in our stories, but I am really sick and tired of stories that promote the mentality that apologizing for your mistakes is all you need to do to have the people that are affected by you forgive you. And that's especially true for this show because Hunter doesn't really do anything else throughout the show that would warrant him being forgiven for the things that he's done. He's firmly established to basically have a penchant for ignoring other people's boundaries, and the rest of the team is just expected to put up with him. But despite what my problems with it will lead you to believe, I actually don't hate title of show. To be perfectly honest, I can't hate it. For one thing, the premise, a live theater production about creating the very thing that is being presented, is fascinating. I am a huge sucker for meta theater, though I don't think it was done particularly well here. Also, its success paved the way for musical theater writers after Bowen and Bell to take this concept even further. Recent examples include Michael R. Jackson's Pulitzer Prize-winning musical A Strange Loop, and Lucy Moss and Toby Marlowe's follow-up to Six, Why Am I So Single? But probably the big thing that keeps me from hating title of show is the message, even though it is dead simple, is actually one that I have never heard being told in this way. That message being the importance of collaboration and of welcoming in and truly listening to new diverse voices. And as far as Prism Theatre Company's production goes, because their mission is empowering women, giving them the chance to be theater makers on a professional level, casting all women in these roles makes this message feel so much more honest and resonant and urgent, even. We are still living in a time, after all, where women are systematically being shut out from entertainment spaces. Jeff Bowen's score, when it's not drowning itself in those goddamn period anachronisms and needless references, is definitely orchestrated. The piano arrangements are nice and bouncy, they're moving when they need to be, and even though the score overall is rather simplistic, some of the songs are quite good. I especially love the arrangement for Change It, Don't Change It. My favorite song in the whole show is actually the finale, 9 People's Favorite Thing. It is a genuinely great song, a fantastic anthem for any artist who struggles with the notion of stay true to yourself and success will follow. It honestly leaves you with a good feeling as you're exiting the theater. I mean, hell, during intermission, as a direct reference to the finale, Prism offered patrons a complimentary Rice Krispie treat, which was actually really wholesome. 9 People's Favorite Thing was a really sweet, really charming finale, which makes me all the more frustrated that the rest of the material does not add up to its earnestness. Prism Theatre Company's production transforms the Kranzberg Arts Center's black box theater into a threadbare rehearsal space designed by Caleb Long, who is actually the only man on the production team. The painting of the set was excellent. The texture of the hardwood floor was convincing, and the green wallpaper was peak early 2000s. The wall itself was actually pockmarked with picture frames that were individually illuminated by lighting designer Catherine Adams. The lights too were well designed. They shifted between every scene effectively, and they enhanced the musical numbers with big, bright, bold colors, including in the picture frames. The special spotlight on the wall-mounted landline phone every time the team gets a voicemail from potential producers is among the bits in the show that are genuinely funny. If there was one criticism with the set, it would have to be the picture frames are empty, so they don't really add much outside of textural variety. I would rather have seen windows instead to give it more of an open feel. Maybe even add more lighting or projections opportunities, who knows? The 4 chairs the team sit at were curated by prop masters Katie Smith and Sadie Harvey, all of which matched the characters' personalities perfectly. And there were other nice prop touches throughout, like Hunter's pink writing journal with a pink fluffball-topped pen, and also the Acting for Dummy book that Larry reads at his piano. For this production, the audience sits in a triangular configuration, a quite novel setup that is well utilized in the staging by director Sam Hayes and the choreography by Katie Billie. The movements that Billie created for the cast were lively and playful, and Hayes' leadership as director cultivated an environment that actually felt a lot of fun to be a part of. You get a sense that everyone involved with this production was given complete creative freedom, just going all out, have the time of their lives with this. Everybody's enthusiasm for the show was actually so contagious that I could separate my grievances with the actual material from my enjoyment of Prism's production of it, and that is the mark of a good director. Sam Hayes will definitely be a name to watch out for in the space, as are the names of this cast. As much as I didn't really care for Hunter as a character, Jalen Hawkins' performance fired off on all cylinders. She gave a frenetic, take-no-prisoners performance that was made tolerable by Katie Orr's portrayal of Jeff's harried, anxious demeanor. Katie Orr and Jalen Hawkins were a fantastic onstage pair. The opening song, Two Nobodies from New York, was a wonderful first impression of how dynamic their chemistry is. Rachel Bailey as Susan was delightful, snapping with sass and irreverence sparkling in her big song, Die Vampire Die, this show's anthem for battling with writer's block. Savannah Fernelius made her professional theater debut as Heidi, and she was a knockout. Fernelius's Heidi was assertive, earnest, and confident in her own abilities. Her performances of I Am Playing Me and the show's 11 o'clock number, A Way Back to Then, were perfect. Heidi was probably the character that I was rooting for the most in the show, and Savannah Fernelius' performance was a big part of that. Mallory Golden is the production's musical director, sound designer, and played Larry. Her keyboard playing was effortless, making this rather simplistic score feel fully realized, which is so hard to do. Golden's comic timing when delivering Larry's sparse dialogue was charming. And I thought the added bit of realism where Golden, as Larry, was teaching the cast how to find their note when starting a song was really quite brilliant. In a word, Prism Theatre Company's production of Title of Show was cute. The material falls into traps that I despise in comedy, but it is a musical that will continue to be produced because it can be done on a budget of Monopoly money, and also because of the message and the way it's portrayed. Title of Show was a huge experimental gamble from its creators that somehow, against all odds, paid off spectacularly. They put this risky material together with a group of uber-talented women who are totally unafraid to take creative risks. That compels me to give Prism Theatre Company's Title of Show nothing less than an A for ambition. Did you see Prism Theatre Company's Title of Show? If so, what did you think about it? And also, question of the day, what is a musical that you don't like, but everybody else seems to love? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. If you're suffering from writer's block, a great resource from inspiration is my website, jackreviewsmusicals.com, where you can check out the back catalog of written reviews that date back as far as 2022. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more St. Louis musical theater reviews coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Wonder Woman for President! I mean, long live the musical!